Thank you so much. We are really excited about this group of Heroes of the Month. As you know, every month we identify a group of Brooklynites who are just doing amazing things and really shattering the stereotype that there's only bad news that's reported throughout the entire city, if not the entire country. And in the spirit of Dr. King, they did not only talk about it, they were about it. They were about being on the ground, doing very real things to help the lives of everyday people. And I want to thank them personally because they are in some of the occupations that I truly admire, particularly in our classrooms and educators. Young people need to learn more than, their arithmetic and their English levels and their lessons and their history lessons. They need real life experiences on how to use their time in the classroom to operate in a large classroom of life. That's where the true learning experience takes place. And these a combination of just great human beings doing things on the ground during the most devastating period of time is a reflection of how everyday Brooklynites, everyday New Yorkers, and everyday Americans are far beyond the conversation. They're doing things that impact the lives of everyday individuals. Today we present a special set of our Heroes of the Month. These individuals exemplify the best and bravest among us. They have demonstrated compassion and service to our communities. 5 years after Hurricane Superstorm Sandy that devastated our communities with 53 deaths and $32 billion in damages. Every place from the Rockaways to the Water Coast to the Bronx, to Lower Manhattan, we all were impacted by Hurricane Sandy. We did not sit back and just ignore the fact that countless number of people came to our aid all across the entire country, and we wanted to do the same, and that's what these heroes have done. After Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, Maria struck Texas, Florida, and the Caribbean, in particular Puerto Rico, our heroes rose to the occasion and did the things that were necessary to put people back and try to make people as whole as possible. In particular, Brooklynites and New Yorkers came out and gave back in a real way. In just a few short weeks following the storm, thousands of supplies were delivered to the island from the state, including 34,000 bottles of water, 9,000 ready-to-eat meals, 3,000 canned goods, and 10 large generators that came from everyday Brooklynite. 60 members of the New York Army National Guard, 4 Black Hawk helicopters, and 50 state troopers were also on standby and responded to these terrible and devastating natural disasters. Through late December, 8,000 New Yorkers donated online, pledged $100,000 in payroll deduction. They also collected 420 tons of supplies, bottles of water, boxes of food, plus 299 employees to Puerto Rico to provide services that left this area and responded in a very real way to the island of Puerto Rico. And even here in Brooklyn, in our office, Pastor Monroe also organized some of the Caribbean islands to make sure that we receive and gave our input and assisted in the relief effort. Under the various teams that came together, there are several who are representative of the hundreds of New Yorkers who responded on the ground, as well as the thousands of New Yorkers who donated or contributed in one way or the other. The first Hero of the Month we teamed up with, and I really want to thank her, Sophia Chang. Sophia is a hip-hop businesswoman who has managed a variety of different artists and operated as many production companies, including Pro Era Records. When she reached out to us, and she tapped into an entirely different group of people, young hip-hop artists, who always wanted to do something in a real way to give back, but no one gave them the avenue to do so. And what Sophia did She set up different boxes and donation sites throughout the borough in some of the hippest and coolest places. And then we had a kickoff party here with Joey Badass, and he wasn't bad that day. That day he was good, where Joey came out and performed, and it was really exciting to see the diversity in the young people around ethnicity, economic status, and as well as gender came out and really gave back in a real way. She teamed up with groups in the area. They had T-shirts and boxes and drop-off sites, and people came together. They collected oversized shirts, new socks, and underwear, baby formula, bottled water, some of the things we take for granted but that are needed during these times. Her efforts resulted in more than 160 boxes of essentials being collected, including all sorts of clothing and other perishable items that were important for people who were on the ground. And so we want to thank Sophia. Her commitment and dedication is the spirit of Dr. King every day, all day, and for giving back and for the great things she has done in Brooklyn. And so we want to give her the first proclamation. On behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute Sophia Chang, a hip-hop music businesswoman who managed the career of rapper artist Joey Badass for collecting more than 160 boxes of goods for those individuals and families that were affected by Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria. I applaud her for the exemplary leadership she has shown by motivating people from across the borough to donate essential items such as clothing, food, water, hygiene products, and household goods. We want to thank her personally as the partnership she had with Borough Hall. I, Eric Adams, Brooklyn Borough President. Sophia? Thank you. Say a few words. You want to take a picture?
Thank you, BP Adams. I am deeply humbled, and I am sure that I speak on behalf of Joey Badass and Pro Era when I say that it was an honor and a privilege to work with you and your exceptional team, Candace, Stefan, Eugene, among others. And for myself, I am eternally grateful that you bestowed upon me the most important gift of all, and that is to be in the service of others, the opportunity to help others. It's 2018, friends. Now more than ever, it is time that we are seen, we are heard, we commune, we fortify, and above all, we resist. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well said, well said. And our next hero is going to be presented to Eric Gibson. A New York City Parks. Eric is a New York City Park. First of all, he has a great first name. He's a New York City Parks Department climber and pruner who's assigned here in Brooklyn with DC 37. As you're going to see, there's a constant narrative of the participations of our unions who were so much involved in the effort of the hurricane relief across the country. He's of African American and Native American heritage with a grandfather from Puerto Rico. Eric got married in August, only a few weeks prior to leaving for Puerto Rico. He traveled to Puerto Rico to assist with hurricane relief just because he wanted to give a helping hand and lend a helping hand to the initiative. He went on a 12-day trip, spending 11 days on the ground helping those in need by doing what he does best, cutting and pruning trees to make sure damaged branches were not endangering civilians on the ground. And I think that's just so significant. Sometimes we look at the skills we have as union members and civil service employees, and we only believe we can do it for the 8 hours or the 8.5 hours that we are in our occupation when those skills are needed during the time of tragedies. He took his skill of pruning trees and brought it to the area, ground zero of the devastation, and utilized those skills to make sure that it didn't endanger the lives of so many. And it is just a strong message of just everyone giving back what they have to give back, and he did it in the right way. And we want to thank Eric for that, and he is a hero to us, and we want to present him with this proclamation. Eric? Thank you, man. On behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute Eric Gibson, a New York City Parks Department climber and pruner in Brooklyn with local DC 37 for lending a helping hand to assist in the hurricane relief by taking a 12-day trip and spending 11 days on the ground cutting and pruning trees to ensure that the damaged branches were not endangering civilians on the ground. I applaud him for the exemplary leadership he has shown for utilizing his skills to help others in need. Eric Adams, Brooklyn Borough President.
Hello, thank you, and it's very a great honor to be able to help other people. And even though I am getting this award, it wasn't just me. It was a great effort by my team that was out there as well. So, you know, we care for our trees, and we're trying to make it safe for other people because trees are very essential to everyone's life. So it's always great to help. So we was able to help nature and help the people. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well said. And our next honoree is Hector Gonzalez, Executive Director of Just 3 Incorporation. Just 3 is a nonprofit working with youth to showcase their talents in the community, and it's such an important aspect of what Hector and his organization is doing, reaching out to the youth of our community. He was born in Puerto Rico and has lived in Brooklyn for over 4 decades. He spent 27 years in Puerto Rico, 27 days in Puerto Rico, making 3 trips of 10, 9, and 8 days in length. He first identified what areas needed the most help and then distribute supplies to shelters and other locations on the island. We want to thank him for his service, his commitment, and being on the ground for those 27 days really touched the lives of people who were in need, and we want to give him and treat him as the hero that he is. And so, Hector, if you would come forward. Whereas on behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute Hector Gonzalez, a native of Puerto Rico and Executive Director of Just 3 Incorporation, a performing arts nonprofit organization that coordinates with young people to showcase their talents in the community. I applaud him for spending 27 days in Puerto Rico, making 3 trips of 8, 9, and 10 days duration, lending a helping hand to distribute essential items such as clothing, food, hygiene products, and medical supplies to those in need. I commend Hector Gonzalez for all he has done to make us one Brooklyn. Eric Adams, Brooklyn Borough President. Thank you, Hector.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You want to take a picture? Let's
Hello, everyone. I feel that receiving this award, it's something that belongs not only to me, but the entire community in Brooklyn. When I went out there to Puerto Rico with my group, we had no idea what we was going to encounter there. I'm a veteran. I'm a Vietnam veteran, and my group are also made of mainly of veterans. We knew that it wasn't an easy task, and we had to reach to people regardless the place and how to get there. We drove and walked day and night. We slept on the floor when we had to, on the ground, because it was not about us, it was about the need, those that were in need. And there's so much more out there that has to be done, that I'll be heading back there in 2 weeks. I'll be heading out there again, and we are gonna try to bring as many supplies as possible. Thank you so much for this time. And thank you.
Thank you. And finally, I'd like to recognize one of my favorite unions, the UFT teachers, and for what they did, not only in the classroom every day with our children, but this great example of participation in the life learning experience that takes place outside the classroom. And being able to walk into a classroom and share this with your students is just impactful and is very powerful. First, I would like to, a group of outstanding teachers. The first is Maria Belcati. I'm going to do them all together. And Maria Yvette Abreu. And Jason Battis. And Brooke Miller. Okay. So, whereas on behalf of all Brooklynites, I salute this great group of teachers from different schools across the borough for helping to coordinate and collect donated goods from our students. I applaud them for the exemplary leadership they have showed by organizing this relief effort in the school so that those essential items could be sent to hurricane-ravaged communities. I commend them for working with others for the benefits of others in the spirit of One Brooklyn with the mission of turning pain into purpose by supporting our brothers and sisters who have suffered from these devastating natural disasters. And I thank them for all they have done to make us one Brooklyn. And I just really want to emphasize how important it is, because when you look at the demographic of our residents here in Brooklyn, many of them come from the Caribbean, from Puerto Rico, come from areas that were devastated. And so when teachers step up in the manner that these teachers have done, it gives us a great opportunity for our children to see that although they are living in America, that their family members are thought about here in the borough of Brooklyn. And this is a great example of how we continue the learning experience. And so we want to give each three of you, okay, Maria, congratulations to you. Maria, congratulations to you. Jason, thank you. Hold on one moment. First of all, before you're welcome to make a few comments.
Good afternoon. When I heard that our union was actually initiating this Operation Agua project, where we were raising funds for water filter, I was very excited to get on board, because as a teacher you work with children every day, and just the thought that a child did not have a basic need such as clean water just really did not sit right with me morally. And so I reached out to my colleagues, to parents, to students in the school, and this really is a combination of a group effort of all of those people, principals, custodians, children, everybody who gave to this effort. And we just need to keep doing more, because the crisis in Puerto Rico is not quite over. So I just want to encourage everybody to still do what we can do to help the people of Puerto Rico. Thank you.
I'd like to echo what Maria said. It is an effort that we are all involved in, and we should continue to do that because it is important, especially for our children and the ones who come from these areas. And for teachers, when they come to the school, it's not just about embracing them and educating them. It's about knowing where they come from and to help them get to where they want to be. Jason?
I just want to echo everything that was just said. You know, I wish I could take credit for this, but it's really the efforts of everybody in the school community that pulled together to help people in need. And having been in a community that has suffered from another devastating Hurricane Sandy, it really meant a lot to all of us. So thank you.
Hi, I'm just grateful to be part of this, and I thought this was a worthwhile cause, and I'm just happy that I was able to be involved in it. So, thank you.
And you know, no great team operates without a great leader, so we want to call on District 21 Superintendent Isabel Daimala.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is truly my pleasure to be here. Thank you, Borough President Adams, for acknowledging the work of the schools in my district. And I want to acknowledge the UFT for their amazing partnership and their leadership in this endeavor. When I heard about Project Aqua, I was very grateful that we were doing this in the district. We are a district that was devastated by Hurricane Sandy, so we know firsthand how very valuable the community support is. And Puerto Rico is part of our community, and it is something that was very near and dear to our heart, and it does not surprise me that my amazing teachers and chapter leaders of my district stood up and took a real leadership role in this endeavor and were successful in making sure that thousands of people have clean drinking water. So thank you all. I commend you.
Thank you. Thank all of you. And again, we are extremely excited, and we want to thank them. They are the spirit of this Dr. King's give back philosophy to life. They have done it in a very real way. Instead of talking about Dr. King's legacy, they are living examples of Dr. King's legacy, and it would translate into the lives of so many people who they helped on the ground during this very devastating period and traumatizing period of living through a hurricane of this level. Thank you very much. Any questions you want to ask anyone? You know, I think it's so important that when we're dealing with such mean-spirit rhetoric on the national level, that we believe all Americans feel this way when we don't. And when you have teachers, tree pruners, volunteers go to areas outside America and within America's border and say we want to help, it sends the right tone. It's not just talking about Dr. King's legacy, it is living the legacy of Dr. King.
It's an incredible honor. It's probably the first time in my life that my mother's really proud of me. I had no idea this was coming. I was completely blindsided. You know, it's so true that when you perform true acts of charity, the return is not the recognition, it's that you know that you help people. But this is just icing on the cake. It was deeply, deeply meaningful to me. I'm really, truly humbled by it.
I did it for a multitude of reasons, you know. Initially, this was done as a group effort to help people in need. You know, I come from a community that was devastated, Long Beach, in Hurricane Sandy. I have family in Puerto Rico, and as soon as I heard about this, you know, I tried to rally the troops, so to speak, and my school came forth in colors. We raised a lot of money, and it's also good because I run a club that teaches children to make change in social issues, and they were all behind this.
And so the recognition doesn't hurt either, though?
No, it was quite a surprise, actually. I got a call on Friday that this was happening, and it was a pleasant surprise.
But as a person who went through a hurricane, you probably had great empathy for those who were going through it.
Absolutely. I'm still dealing with repairs from Sandy now. I mean, we had no power for over a month. We had friends whose houses were completely wiped away, nothing left. So this does strike home on a personal level. So maybe there was a little extra footwork, but it's just an important cause, and it's something that people need. And I mean, if we're not going to band together as a world community, then what am I teaching my students?